established rich coming right back at you. Today's conversation is not about hate. It's not about shaming women. And it damn sure ain't about controlling nobody's body. This is about fear. The fear only a parent can understand. Because when I look at my daughter, when I think about her future, one of my biggest fears is not failure. It's success. Success in a system that often demands black women sell sex just to be seen. And I need to say this carefully. This is not about how women dress. This is not about moral superiority. This is about expectations. The expectation that if a black woman wants to win, she has to turn on sex appeal. She has to make love with her eyes, with her lips, with her body. Not sometimes, but consistently. And that's where my heart gets heavy, because we don't act that to little girls. We don't talk like that around our kids. But when the lights come on, when it's time to entertain, the rules change and the message becomes clear. Talent is not enough. Intelligence is not enough. Charisma is not enough. You have to be desired. And that's a burden black women have been carrying for a long time.
You know, when I get asked that question, I just have to, when I first started getting asked this question, I didn't do enough research to properly answer the question. Mm-hmm. So now anything I said before this interview is not valid. So after I come up to my conclusion, and now in my research, I know that the market for female rap has been exploited and dumbed down to just sex, because that's what the consumers are asking for. Mm. The consumers do not support women with their clothes on. I do not care what anyone says. At this point, I won't even debate it. I see it too much on social media. They skip a lot. There are a lot of women, underground women. I might not know their names, but there are a lot of women out there that do not show their ass. They're not. And they're not getting that radio play. There's I should have seen it before the interview, but I had looked on Twitter, and it was about 6 female rappers. They claimed were the hottest 6 female rappers. You trying to tell me you found 6 pictures, everybody ass out? Dang. Not one picture, and I have it in my phone if I'm lying. Not one picture of the girls. They had clothes on. I'm sure you can find I'm sure I saw maybe.
Yeah, everybody got. Yeah.
Where's that picture? So Saweetie has been.
A picture I would use for Megan Thee Stallion since she graduated college last year. I would use a cap and gown picture walking the stage at Texas Southern. No. Like that would be the one. You know.
And this was an entertainment music blog.
Yeah.
And it was like, which one of these women has had the hottest run? And I'm just like, wow, the pictures. So yes, the consumers are the ones that's obsessed with body, with sex, and hearing it. So the labels are gonna put more women out there that's willing to show their body and willing to be very sexually liberated than a woman that has restrictions, and that's just what it is.
Here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. Black men help build this, and black women, in many cases, adapted to survive it. Rap videos taught us that women are accessories. Album covers taught us that sex sells better than soul. And over time, the line between expression and expectation got blurred. Now we stuck in this confusing space where a woman can sell sex as part of her job. But when the cameras turn off, she wants to be seen above it. And that confusion ain't about judgment. It's just reality. Because how do you teach a young girl that her value is deep when every success story she sees is tied to how she looks? This is why I'm not mad at the women. I'm mad at the system. A system that conditioned us to accept the myth. The myth that black women are only powerful when they sexual. And the crazy part is, we started believing it. We became myth makers instead of myth maintainers. Real benefits only show up when we unplug from that conditioned thinking. When we confront the burden of being defined solely on sexuality. And here's the hopeful part. There are artists, media creators, community voices trying to break that spell, trying to show black women as whole, intelligent, complex, loving, desiring, but not defined by desire. People forget this. Black sexuality is human, not a product. It's something to understand, to write about, to paint, to express, not something that should be the price of admission. And if we're willing to call out black men for glorifying death, drugs, and self-destruction, we have to be brave enough to have an honest conversation about this too. Not to attack, but to protect. Because little girls are watching, whether we like it or not. They're learning what they think they have to become just to matter. This didn't start with today's artists. This didn't start with social media. This started with programming. For generations, black women have been introduced to the world through a very narrow window. Desired, consumed, exoticized. Not fully seen, not fully heard, not fully understood. And over time, that image got normalized. It got marketed. It got profitable. So when a black woman walks into entertainment today, She's not walking into a blank space. She's walking into expectations that were built long before her. Expectations from executives, from marketing teams, from camera angles, from algorithms. And here's where we have to be honest with ourselves. This ain't just about men in suits. This ain't just about corporations. This is about us too. We click it, we share it, we stream it, we reward the very images we say we're tired of. And that's not an accusation. That's a reality check, because conditioning works best when it feels like a choice, when it feels like I'm empowered, when it feels like I'm in control. But when every path to success leads to the same visual language, at some point we have to ask the hard question. Is this freedom or adaptation? This is where that word myth matters. The myth that black women are naturally more sexual. The myth that this is just who we are. The myth that if you question it, you attacking black women. No. Questioning a system is not attacking the people inside of it. In fact, it's the opposite. Real benefits only show up when we unplug from conditioned thinking and confront the burden of being defined by one thing. Not one lens, the lens. So now when somebody says, can we show more range? The response is defensive. Why you policing women? Why you mad? Why you hating? When the real question is, why is this the only lane that gets funded? Why is this the only image that gets pushed to the front? Why do alternative representations always feel like a risk? This is why people start talking about reprogramming, not brainwashing, unwashing, deflating the idea that there are only two options, hypersexual or invisible, because that ain't true. It never was. There have always been artists, writers, filmmakers, community voices trying to expand the image, trying to show black women in love, in thinking, in complexity, but they don't get the same support, the same marketing, the same machine. And that's not an accident. Sex sells fast. Depth sells slow, and slow doesn't always fit a profit model that's built on viral moments. So when people say, this is just how it is, what they really saying is, this is how we were taught to play. Listen, this ain't about going back in time. This ain't about telling women what to do. This is about asking why the system only celebrates one version of black womanhood and why they keep calling that freedom. Real freedom is options. Real freedom is range. Real freedom is a young girl being able to dream without feeling like her body is part of the application. This is where humility has to lead the way. Men have to own the role we play in reducing women to visuals, the lyrics, the cameras, the silence when it benefited us. And women shouldn't have to carry the entire burden of trying to fix a system they didn't build. This ain't about blame. It's about responsibility. Responsibility looks like supporting different images even when they not flashy. Responsibility is showing up for art that don't sell sex to get attention. Responsibility looks like teaching our daughters that power is not conditional. Because right now, too many young girls are learning that success comes with a performance attached. And that performance is always about being desired. We got to interrupt that lesson, not by shaming, not by scolding, but by demanding more from the people who control the lights. Executives, programmers, marketers, and yes, consumers. Because every click is a vote. Every stream is an endorsement. But if we say we want balance and only show up for extremes, the system hears a click louder than a complaint. This is also about language. We got to be able to talk about sexualization without calling it hatred. We got to be able to protect children without hurting women. We got to be able to say, this makes me uncomfortable without being labeled an enemy. Because sometimes discomfort is the first step in growth. And if we really serious about black excellence, then excellence has to mean more than looks, more than desire, more than viral moments. It has to mean who we are when the cameras are off, what we pass down, what we normalize, and what we refuse to accept is the only way. This conversation ain't easy. It ain't supposed to be. But if we can't have it with love, honesty, and humility, some little girl is gonna pay the price for our silence. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.